everyone doing? Happy Sunday to everyone. You all come along with me in this kitchen today and let's make us some meatloaf. You all, I got a pack of meat on sale. I like to go to Food Line early in the mornings if I'm shopping for meats. And this is a mixture of ground veal, pork, and beef. And then when I come home, I just use whatever sides I already have in the house. And so today we're going to do baked potatoes. And you all, I've already prepped my baked potatoes. What I did was I washed them, I poked holes in them, and I put olive oil on them. And I have the oven preheating to 375 degrees, and I'm going to put them in the oven. And the purpose for the olive oil on the skin is to help make the skin crunchy. And poking the holes in the potatoes will help for them to get tender faster. And now if you want to, you can put salt on the outside of your potatoes, but I'm on a low sodium diet, so I won't be putting any on mine. All of my seasonings will go on the inside when it's done. But if you do put salt on there, it helps to boost the flavor of the potato inside. I'll be back, you all, so we can put these ingredients into the oven. I'm back, you all. I have opened up the pack of meatloaf meat. And you all, if you only have ground beef or if you have ground beef and pork, you can mix your meatloaf together with that, or you can make one just out of ground beef. I'm using this meat because this is the pack that I got on sale. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get this meatloaf put together. So I'm going to use onion powder. And you all, you can season your meatloaf with whatever you want. And I'm just going to eyeball it because it's not a lot of meat. Next, I'm going to season it with garlic powder. Yeah, I'm going to season it with just a little bit of salt because I'm on a low sodium diet, so I can have a little bit, not a lot, but you can season yours with as much salt as you want. Okay, I'm going to season it with paprika. Next, I'm going to use this salt-free seasoning. And you all, I'm not going to add any pepper, I don't think, because one thing about salt-free seasoning, it is heavily seasoned with pepper. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is crack an egg in here. And you all, while the meatloaf is cooking, I'm going to go outside and show you what I do with my potatoes when they get old, because I'm trying to learn how to recycle stuff. Now, on this plate right here, I have some onions and bell peppers. You can use green bell peppers, but if you're shopping on a budget, use whatever you have in your house. And these are some peppers that I got free from Food Lion, so I just cut them up and put them in a bag. And I think I've cut up too many onions over here. So I'm going to use as many onions and bell peppers that I feel like this meat will handle. If that makes sense. I don't want too much and too little. Maybe just a couple more. You can still smell the freshness of this bell pepper. Okay, then I'm just going to add some onions. Let's see how many I think. Okay, you all, now I'm going to go and wash my hands because the next thing we need to add is breadcrumbs. And I don't have any, so when I don't have any breadcrumbs, I use a piece of bread. So I'm going to wash my hands because I'm going to have to crumble it up in my bread, and I'll be right back. I'm back, okay, and I have this piece of bread. And you all, I told you I don't have any breadcrumbs, so what I do is if I need them, I just wash my hands. And I put the piece of bread in my hand, and I take one hand and just move it back and forth, and you see how those breadcrumbs are falling into the bowl. So, and this is some honey wheat butter bread. So I'm just gonna keep on doing this until the most of the bread is gone in my hand. And then you all, the last thing we're gonna have to do is, well, last two things, add some tomato paste and put our topping on the top. Some people like to do gravy. I like to do ketchup and brown sugar. So that's what I'm going to do on top of mine. I'll be right back so we can put this tomato paste in and mix the meatloaf together. Okay, I have finished the breadcrumbs. Let me let you see that up close. Okay, and now we're going to put in this Cento tomato paste. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried it and what you think. And you take the top, you turn it upside down, and that's how you poke your hole in it. So I'm just going to eyeball this tomato paste, what I think may be enough. But, you know, that's more convenient than the can. You know, at the can, you either got to put it in a bowl, you got to figure out how to store it. And also, always check your expiration dates, because this one says best by 2029. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to rinse my hands, and we are going to mix this meatloaf up and put it in a pan. And you all, the pan I'm about to put it in, it may look dirty, but it's not. But it's still cookable. You ever have seasoned pans like that? They're still good for cooking, and you clean them, and you know they're not dirty, but... Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is get this meatloaf mixed up. Now you get your hands dirty. And you all, this is just a little bit of meat, so you season yours accordingly. And you all, like I said, you can season it how you want to, whatever seasonings you like. And some people top it with gravy, some people ketchup. I like to do ketchup and brown sugar. Okay, you all, what I am going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more tomato paste in here. A little bit more. Okay, you all, I'll be right back so we can get this in the pan. Okay, you all, I added a little more tomato paste and I have mixed it together. This is what it's looking like. Now we're going to get it in the pan and get the topping on it. Okay, this is what it's looking like in my pan, and as you can see, I did not push it all the way to the sides. You want it to be light and airy, more fluffy. It just cooks better that way as opposed to being all mushed down. Now the next thing we're going to do is make this topping, and like I said, you can top yours however you want to. I'm using ketchup and brown sugar. Okay, and I'm just measuring this off the top of my eyes. Okay, so we're going to put some ketchup. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of brown sugar. And like I said, you all, don't let my pan worry you. It is fully clean. It just looks like that. And it's still very usable. So all we're going to do is we're just going to stir this brown sugar and this ketchup together. Okay? And now we're going to take this mixture and we're just going to, let's see, put it on top of this meatloaf. Let me get a spatula, you all, because that I think would work better. Toss that fork in the sink. And you all let me know in the comments, do you prefer ketchup topped meatloaf or meatloaf with gravy? Okay. And we're just going to spread it across. And you all, it'll thicken up as it's cooking. And I like some ketchup on top. Not a lot, because normally once I cut the meatloaf and eat it, I'm going to have a little bit of ketchup on that. Okay, so spread this out to here. Let's see if I have ketchup all over my vest. Let's see if we can get this little corner down here. Okay, you all, I'm going to go and put this in the oven for at least an hour and then come and check on it. And you all, one thing I do in between my meatloaf cooking is come in and pour some of the excess oil off of it that's in the pan. But I'm going to show you up close what this meatloaf is looking like before we put it in the oven. This is what it's looking like. All right, you all. I'll be back to show you what it's looking like as it's cooking. And remember, while this is cooking, I'm going to run outside and show you what I do with my extra potatoes when they start growing the little heads on them. Or I think you know what I mean. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I'm outside, and this is what I do when my potatoes start growing buds. I plant them. So this is my potato plant this year so far. I'm also trying a new experiment. They say you can grow potatoes in a cardboard box. So in here, I put 3 potatoes in here yesterday, and I'll keep y'all posted as to how they grow. But this is what I do with my potatoes when they start growing buds and going bad. Hopefully, I could grow enough this season that I won't have to buy anymore. Okay, everyone, I'm back, and this is our finished meatloaf. So that I can give the first bite to you. All right, you all, I'm back, and this is my finished plate. I have meatloaf, and you see how the inside of it's looking? It's done. And a baked potato. And on the baked potato, we have butter, sour cream, and bacon bits. And if you can see, you all made some homemade chips back here. That video will follow this one. Those are lemon pepper potato chips. Okay, so let's give the first bite of this baked potato to you. No worries. I'm going to put you some bacon bits in it. And I'm going to drop you some too. Okay, the first bite goes to you. Now let me try it. Now y'all, that's delicious. You cannot go wrong with a baked potato if you like baked potatoes. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to try this meatloaf. And no worries, I'm going to give you some with ketchup and brown sugar on it. Okay, so the first bite goes to you. Now let me try it. Y'all, that's good. Now that's some meatloaf. Anyway, you all, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a most wonderful evening and a most wonderful meal. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.